it's 0.10 of a second. So 10th of a second for each one. However, as you know, with anything, maybe there's a few, a longer time you want to be on one or two images. As this is my very first image, I'm at the very top, I would like this one to be a little bit longer, maybe 2 seconds to start off with. So again, I'm just clicking on one now only. I'm going to go through, see which ones are the important ones that I want to, I suppose, to land on for longer. So I'm going to click Control again on my keyboard and click left. And there is just earlier I was saying if you can't find speed duration, it is in that menu. You just have to come on down. So coming on down using this arrow here, and there's speed duration, because there's an awful lot in that menu. When you click on it and then you left click using the control key, there's a lot in that menu. So just have a look, it will be there. Again, I'm just going to click into where it says duration. You have to wait till you have the hand, then you click once, and then I'm going up with my keyboard to, I'm going to go up to 2 seconds actually for this one. So it's 1 second, and now I could put it in by hand, but I kind of prefer to do it this way, and 2 seconds. Okay. That one will be 2 seconds. You won't see here when you're kind of scrolling through it, you won't see that there's a difference. They're all just be playing however long you keep your finger pressed on the down key is how long they're going to press. They're going to play. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just going through and I'm seeing, is there another time when I want it to pause a little bit? So I think now that I have the box open, I probably would like it to pause a little longer than the 10 seconds. So I'm going back up to this one. And I'm going to click Control, left click again, and come on down to speed duration. Click in here into the little box, and I am again going to go up to, I think, 2 seconds maybe again. These are kind of handy because you can kind of figure out where you want to pause with this. Going down again. Now, I will probably pause the video for the moment, just so that I can go through it a little bit better and figure out where I want the pauses to be. But you can see how it works. I'll just do one more. I'll come down. I'd like it to pause a little bit on her when we see her face. Okay, so I'm going to click Control, press my mouse, and I'm again looking for speed duration again. There it is. And I kind of think it's important to see her face. I'm actually going to give it for a lot longer than 2 seconds. I might even do 3 seconds this time. So again, I'm going up, using my keyboard again, my up arrow key. All of these can again be changed if it doesn't work out. If you go, oh no, I spent too long on that, but not changed terribly dramatically. So I would really recommend that you get as much of this done here first, before you start to move anywhere else, that you figure out what's kind of important on this. Now, I'm actually going to pause this now because I would like to go through the rest of this and sort out exactly what, how many seconds I want on each kind of image. That needs to be done here, not when you get it into the next section. So this, take a little bit of time with this and figure out, I'd say maybe, maybe about 10 of them that you would have, that you'd have a longer than the 10th of a second on them. Okay, just going to click this for a second and pause. Okay, so I just paused it there for a second, just so you wouldn't have to watch me go through every single one of them and decide how many seconds. Now, how I worked it was, the very last one, I put it at 3 seconds. Now, remember, I've just been doing the exact same what I was showing you earlier. I've been clicking on the one I want to be more than a 10th of a second. I've been clicking Control on my keyboard. I've been clicking my left key on my mouse or on my touchpad, and I've been saying speed duration a bit longer. How I've picked them is if there's a change, say in light, between two of them, or a change of direction of the camera or some major change, I like to use those ones to have a little bit longer because they're maybe the ones that I would have a transition. So maybe be fade in or a fade out. So those are the ones I would tend to make a little bit longer than the 10th of a second. So my very last one is at 3 seconds. I'm going to go up through a few more. Do you see? There was one there a second ago. Yeah. So there's 2 seconds for this one, and the one before above it was 10th of a second. There's quite a difference in the light between that and that, which is why I might do a transition there. Let me go on up. There's a few more, and if you can see there's a 2 seconds there, and that's more because there's a change of position. She is getting quite close to the mirror there, and then I've kind of zoomed in with the camera, so I've just given a little bit of a transition there. Well, not a transition, I've just changed it to 2 seconds. That's possibly where I will have a transition. Now, it's not written on that this is exactly where I'm going to have a transition, but it kind of gives me an indication of maybe how I'd like to work with this. As you can see, that one I'm on now at the moment is just over 1 second. And the one below it is just over 1 second. They're quite a change from one to the other. So I will probably most definitely put a transition in there. So these ones all kind of have a little bit more than a tenth of a second. Then there's no change for ages until I get to this one. And that's more because there's quite a difference in light between this one and the next one. So again, I would probably have a transition. So a transition is just like, if you think of it, it would be one will fade into the other. And that's, I think all that, it is so much handier if you set all that now in your head even, that you have it worked out where you might have your transitions. And also you have kind of set out where it's more important for the camera maybe to linger. You think of it as a camera lingering on a certain point. I'm just going to go on up there. I had her linger there a little bit more because it's kind of quite close up of her face. And going back. So any of them like that, I've just given a little bit extra. Like, it's not that much. You think of it, it's only a second. I think the longest one is 3 seconds, which is the very last clip. And possibly the first one is, I had first one at, that one because her arm went up. So I put it there to linger a little bit more on her for a second, on her arm going up and coming back up to the very top. And I think nothing else has changed apart from when we see face first was there and then up there. Okay, so that's it. I have them all worked out. It could take you maybe about half an hour or 40 minutes to get all that sorted out, to figure out yourself. It depends how well you know your photos that you've taken, and it also depends on exactly how you want to show this. So the next thing I want to do is I need to drag all these into where it's going to work, where they're basically going to turn into an animation. So remember I said about making this bigger or smaller. I'm going to bring it all the way back out again because I want to select them all. I'm going to click on my very, very top one, my first one, keep my finger pressed on the shift key, come down to the very, very end like we did before. And I have them all selected now. Okay, now my next step is, where do I drag them to? I'm actually going to drag them to here. There's no point doing it yet until I actually click, remember, from assembly to editing. So now I'm on editing, and do you see where it says drop media here to create sequence? That's where we're going to. At the moment, there's no sequence in there. So that's where we want to put it to. I'm just going to, remember I said about making the boxes bigger or smaller? I'm actually going to make, this is the box. I'm going to drag it to. I'm going to make it just a teeny bit smaller. And I'm going to make the one that we were working on a lot bigger. Okay, and my folder closed when I did that. So I'm going to do a double click. And they're all open again. I'm going to make this one higher. This is kind of a good indication to see how it works. So this one I can't drag up at the moment to make it higher to see the rest of it, because this one here is so big. So I'm going to drag this one back, just from me messing earlier with them. Oh, wrong bit dragging. Won't drag back. How did I make that smaller the last time? I'll just go up that way actually. Okay, so, and again, here I am. I'm just going to come back as far as here. Let's make that bigger to fit everything. All right, so I want to click on the top one. And because I need to drag as far as here, it says drop media. So remember, I'm now in editing. So I'm clicking on the first one and I'm moving all the way down to the end. Clicking on this one. All right, I have them all now. So finger pressed down, you're dragging and dropping basically. So I'm keep my finger pressed down and I'm dragging all the way over. And oh, it's not moving. Get over. There it is. And I'm just going to drop here and give it a second. Okay, so you think things have changed slightly. This is all my photos now. I don't really need this section open anymore. So I'm going to not close it totally. I'm just going to make it smaller. Back over there, out of the way. This is the important section now. So you can see I have this V1 is where it's all gone. So that's where my clip has gone. If you see above it, it says V2. You might put maybe in there at some stage, we might put a title in there where it blends from one into the other. So the V2, it kind of would play on it. You know what I mean? They'd be like two blended together, images blended together maybe. A1 is my audio. A2 is audio, and A3 is audio. So you can see with your audio, you can either just put music in, or you could actually speak over it, or you could, whatever way you want to do. For the moment, we're just going to drag this box. Remember, it's the active box, and I'm on editing, remember, all the way over here. Okay. And I'm just going to click into here where my clips have all gone in, and I'm just going to hit Control on my keyboard and press the plus sign. So the plus sign is above the equal sign, and you can see that each photo gets a little bit bigger, so I can actually see what's going on. If that gets too big and I don't want to see what's going on anymore, that's way too big for each photo, I click again, I keep my finger pressed on Control, and I'm clicking the minus sign this time and come back out. So minus or plus to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, now this blue line here is my play button, or I suppose my scroll and play one. It will, wherever it is where it's going to play. And if you see just above it, you can see the start of the red from my box. That's where the whole thing's going to play. So remember I said it earlier about, making the box bigger or smaller. I want to see that a lot better. So I'm going to drag this blue box back down out of the way. Oh, it won't drag down out of the way. Get in there. There it is. And because I want to get up to the other one. So bring it down, and there we are. So that's what I want to see. I want to see my image playing properly. There's a play key just here, and I'm going to press it and have a look at it. So remember, these are all at the 10th of a second. Remember that would have been like a second or two longer. So you'll see where I've made things a second or two longer than the 10th of a second, how it works. Now you might decide with your one that, oh, the 10th of a second is way too slow. I want it longer, faster, whatever. You just change that 10th down. The lower that number, the quicker it's going to be. And those pauses, that kind of 1 second, 2 second pause, there will be a transition in the next video about how to transition from one to the other. Okay, and it should be finishing soon. Okay, so just if you look up here, it says 1 minute 36 seconds. So some of those will be speeded up or slowed down or whatever later on. So it might end up maybe being about 45 seconds long, or could end up being longer. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to stop that for the moment. And then the next one we will do, it will be about how to do the transitions and speed up or slow down. Just one thing, do remember to save the whole time. So it does have a title, so I'm just going to click File, Save, just for the changes I've done there.